sitting here for 6 years.
How is the town board salary $800 for November when there's
Some
only
people are on
6?
150, some people are on 100,
Oh, that's right.
depending on when they started their terms.
We not budget that, right?
We
for,
did budget. We budgeted about 150.
But for December, we only have $450, and it's $800 a month.
December showed only 450.
That's what's showing what's left in the budget report. That's why I was confused.
Oh, it's left in there?
Yeah, so,
Probably because they budgeted 150 and not everybody's on it yet.
no, it's not, it's gonna be it's gonna be under, like, there's not enough money in the budget for
Oh,
the
I don't know, we
December.
can ask. All right, welcome back, everybody,
Recording in progress.
from our hiatus. I'd like to call this meeting to order January 16th, 2024. The time is now 6:30. Roll call.
Trustee Zazzaro.
Here.
Trustee Hartz.
Here.
Trustee Moreland.
Here.
Trustee Thomas.
Here.
Trustee Wolf.
Here.
Trustee Ah.
Here.
And Mayor Tarkington.
Here. All right, would everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, did everybody get a chance to go over the agenda?
Yes.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as posted.
Second?
All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Zazzaro.
Yes?
Trustee Hartz.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Trustee Ah.
Yay.
And Mayor Tarkington.
Yes. Moving on to conflicts of interest. Do any trustees have any conflicts to report? Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Hogay. We have a swearing-in ceremony for Officer Lee.
Yes, I'd like to introduce everybody to our new officer. It's going to be Philip Lee, and this is his family, Paula and the kids. They all come from Ignacio. It was a great surprise when Philip applied for us. A, we were looking, and B, he has an incredible background from the Navy. He also worked with the program manager for the Volunteers of America. He also was at one time a Southern Youth Corrections officer. He has a degree in criminology, and I've talked to everybody several times. I've done interviews for officer candidates for over 20 years at several different departments, and his is one of the most outstanding interviews, oral boards that I've ever seen. And so it was, we had to really, yes, we won him. So we really kind of did the background. Everything came out spotless. Everything else is working out great. And I talked to the program director for the academy. He's going to now. He just started yesterday, so he's got to get home so he can get back up there tomorrow. But the program director and I both have high expectations. No pressure. All right. But we have high expectations because I think after and the way we do the board now is that I have Sergeant Stritzel and several of our officers in there. I do a lot of the questions. I let them pick who they want to be their next teammate. And they overwhelmingly picked him. They wanted him that bad because he fit the mold of what we're looking for as Bayfield police officer as we now grow into this next phase. So I would like to introduce him. This is Philip and his family, and Dustin's going to swear him in, right? There we go. Oh, you forgot the stuff.
I thought you said you were.
No, I'm not sure. I don't have the notes. 1 minute. Give us a couple minutes. All right. See, when that's not on, we have meetings when you guys aren't here. We put video games up there.
He's so not saying the truth.
Better camera situation.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a new TV, but
Is it new to you?
yeah, the other one was
Diane.
so far good.
Attorney or judge.
there's two people that got theirs already. No one has to get a big old
Yeah,
fridge.
I've got the box on the house, I don't have the actual installation. I'm waiting for them to. It's easy enough to find. It's easy enough to find. Did you send it out? Way ahead. You're way down here. The cheeks were. Oh, that.
And I'm gonna go introduce myself to the White House.
I mean, what does it do?
Is it Roland is hooked up?
No, he's on the wait list because they have a longer trench to go to his house.
Oh, really? Oh. We got lucky since we have all dirt. And we don't have the fence up.
Yeah, you don't, that doesn't happen.
Can you stand up there with Dad?
But I only got you.
No, sir. Wait, we're not gonna hang on now.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I
I, Philip Lee,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Colorado,
that I will be truthful,
faithful,
faithful to the allegiance of the United States of America,
and I will support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and I will support the laws thereof,
and that I will,
to
to the best of my skill and judgment,
the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
prejudice,
and prejudice,
execute the office
of the
Bayfield Police Department
of the Bayfield Police Department
according to the Constitution,
according to the Constitution,
laws of this state,
laws of this state,
and town ordinances.
and town ordinances.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I know you gotta get going. See you guys later. All right?
Thank you all.
Thank you. Welcome. I'm going to take a step back here and go to public input. If we have any general public input, please step forward and state your name and address for the record. All right. Seeing none, we have our consent agenda in front of us. Unless there's any questions, now's your time to ask on those or any clarification. If not, then we can approve the consent agenda in one swoop.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the December 5th, 2023 minutes and November 2023 financial statement action items. In addition, both sales tax reports are indicating favorable increases.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Cesaro,
Yes?
Trustee Hartz,
Yes?
Trustee Moreland,
Yes.
Trustee Thomas,
Yes.
Trustee Wolf,
Yes.
Trustee Ah,
Yay.
And Mayor Tarkenton.
Yes. All right, moving on to department reports. Town manager report. Katie, did you want to highlight your report?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank the board and the mayor for having 2 meetings off. It was really a nice break through this holiday season and through some of the sicknesses and flu and everything else that seemed to come along in those 3 or 4 weeks. So anyway, thank you very much. 2023 was a heck of a year. The transformation from Parks and Recreation to 3 smaller departments is possibly kind of one of the biggest changes, accomplishments of staff. I know there was a lot of stress and drama, but I think we've got through it and through 2023. Along with the transformation of a human resource director, we were just falling so far behind legally and a lot of things that we have to do to keep up with a lot of the laws and regulations for employees. And then a dedicated finance director. What a year this has been. This is going to be a great benefit for the operations and also attention to administrative matters that we really need to be paying attention to. So hiring experienced police chief, a lot of changes in that department and a lot of modernization, calling it the Bayfield Police Department as well, has really been a big change. So anyway, a lot of things going on. I think the biggest shock, I guess, if nothing else, was the police liability was almost $34,000 more in billing. My guess is somehow I missed the quote amounts. Maybe it was a good thing, especially with all the stress during that budget season. But it looks like some other things were over budgeted in the general fund, so we're probably going to be okay as far as all the insurance cost. We do pay flood insurance for the town hall and the senior center. Usually that bill comes around June or July. So that's about another $6,000 to $7,000 a year, but we should be okay. And most of the enterprise funds, street funds, were also over budgeted, and we will always have a claim for something in those departments, so we should be okay there. Now the really bad news, over 18 months ago, actually, we had, the board had approved the purchase of Spillman. That we're still hoping to have paid for that in 2023 when we still kind of had a budget approval. So as soon as we get that final invoice and some of those things that will wrap up, you'll probably see that Spillman invoice come before you for approval. But I believe we should be up and running hopefully March or April. That's kind of the goal. So the Columbine Ranger Station, they are going to cut the trees down on Park Street, and I think that's just important for you to know because people value their trees, but they are elm trees, and elm trees are considered noxious trees, so they're not necessarily the kind of tree that you would want. But they're needing more parking. And they're also looking for to save some of their buildings because they have a feeling that there's a limb that could actually, if it breaks it. And elm trees are very heavy, so it could really crush one of their structures, which they really need. So anyway, I want to thank LPEA for being involved in the Christmas tree lighting contest. We only had 4 participants, but boy, we had over 900 people that voted. So there saw a lot of activity. That was kind of a fun time to see that activity back and forth. So that's what I have for you today.
All right, any questions? All right, Dustin.
All right. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Board of Trustees. As you guys are fully aware, election packets, I put this together a little bit while ago, but they are out and they are in full swing and they are circulating right now. I do have extra packets in there. If anyone is interested, just let me know. Those are due back to me by the end of business, so 4 p.m. on January 22nd. I did attend another webinar with CML on the election petition process and signature verifications, and I will be reaching out to the Secretary of State for the DEO access to check on those signatures. I'm still struggling a little bit with the PIO resources, reaching out to the county, so I'm gonna get some other resources. I have talked to Chief a little bit about it. And I'm gonna talk to Lori about that, get that taken care of. But yeah, I need to get a little more information on that to really understand fully that role. K through 4 basketball is in full swing, and the gym has been packed the last couple Saturdays. It's been really fun to see so many people turning out, and it surprised me how big it was because my only experience was with the 5th and 6th graders, and that was pretty mellow. So it was fun to see. And kind of segue into that, we are packing that gym full, so much so we had to cap the pickleball registrations at 20. So 40 people, and what the plan is we're going to open it up again, but we were running out of evening slots because we've got the youth volleyball coaches getting ready to start. Their registration already opened up too. And we're even pushing adult soccer into 9 o'clock at night. We have that gym so busy. So the plan is with pickleball, we're going to reach out to the people that have signed up, the 40 people, and see who can play in the daytime. Because we do have a crowd out there that can. Once we know a little bit who we can schedule that's not working and can do that, or works nights, whatever, we're going to open it back up again. And the great thing about the pickleball league too is once it's over, we can just roll another league out again too, as well as the other plans. So we're going to send the email out through our MailChimp and see who we can get in the day, and then we're going to open it up back up. There is a waiting list forming, so if you go to sign up now, you can get on the waiting list. So when we do open it back up, you can get in. So we just need a little more knowledge. It was even more popular than we had thought, and we can only run 8 people at a time, so 2 courts. So that's going to be fun. We've already got the gear. We're already putting tape on the floor for all that. We had rate changes that you guys approved earlier. They went into effect starting in January. I'm working on the ClearGov, which is more clarity for the budget and things like that. And I'm almost done. I still have a couple line items that were weird that didn't check out. So I'm looking into that. And as soon as I get an answer back from ClearGov, I'll be posting that link on the website. It's a really unique tool, creates a lot of cool graphs and stuff that really, you can really visualize a budget and things like that. So, okay, and as far as getting the shirts done, we only got about half of what we needed, and those are getting ready to go to print. I'm dragging my feet a little bit because of sponsors. I had to make sure the sponsors were ready to go because those shirts are probably going to last 3 years. So we've reached out. We've got a couple new sponsors that I'm waiting for their PDF for, so we're excited about that. And I've already drafted the letter explaining the one-time fee and how you'll be able to upgrade to larger sizes for free. Just waiting for them to print the shirts and I'll get them out. Any questions for me?
I was thinking on those, we talked through the jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of talking to some of the parents, because my kids are in basketball, that's why it's been packed, because it's like the whole football team's playing each other. We started thinking about that as parents of children. Maybe we should have them returned at the end of the season.
Okay.
Just a thought, if there anything, we kind of talk, who knows if our kids will misplace them. Just a thought on those. Instead of letting you guys hang on to them, and then when you need a bigger one, you exchange it. I'm thinking maybe we turn it back at the end of the season. Obviously take the deposit, but
Right.
reissue every, just, you know how kids are.
Yeah, for
We were
sure.
kind of talking through that with some of the parents. It's like, we don't know if we want to be responsible for those. Just a thought.
Okay, makes sense. It's good feedback.
What is Cassell software? What does it do?
Cassell basically runs most of our, it runs all of our utility software. So if you come in and make a payment, it goes through Cassell. It also runs budgeting. It's basically a government platform that provides a lot of functions for the office, administration functions. The meter reads go into Cassell. Budgets go into Cassell. Accounts payable, payroll now goes into Cassell.
And what does ClearGov do?
ClearGov is a transparency tool to help make budgets and governmental functions more transparent and easier to see. We do post the regular budget on the website and things, but ClearGov kind of kicks that up a notch and does a lot of graphs and visuals. And the only problem I'm having is that you have to integrate the data from Cassell into ClearGov, and they're kind of like an old married couple. They don't communicate very well.
Yeah.
So I'm having a little trouble with that, but Yeah, it's a tool just to show transparent, this is where your money's going. And they've got mountain graphs, pie charts. You can really dive into it. This was kind of my first go at it. I took a shot with the 2023 budget just kind of as my test pilot. And I like the looks of it, but again, I've got some weird line numbers out there like Zumba, things
So
like
where do
that.
those graphs go?
You click on the link, and
Yeah.
then it'll open up in your browser and show you all of them.
But I mean, is it just for you, or does it go?
It goes
out
to the public.
To the website?
The
No?
public.
Okay,
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's just a transparency tool
got
that,
it. I'm just trying to learn all our software.
yeah.
And there's so much of it. And so I need to, I don't know what these words are. And can I go back to the last meeting and ask about the storage cost?
Mhm.
Is that a Cassell cost, or is that a ClearGov's, or is that another software?
No, that's DataSafe, who
Okay.
provides the computers.
And I
and-
don't remember getting a number for how expensive it was.
They haven't gave me one either, and they're in a transition right now. I don't know if you've heard, but Patrick has left DataServe, and he was our field guy, and he left, and we're all very sad about that. So I haven't heard much more. I did talk to his former supervisor, Christine. She recommended getting a fireproof safe and start dumping things on external hard drives. Would probably be the next step. But I still haven't got a quote, still haven't got a list of what's in the cloud from them either. That's kind of what I'm waiting on. I need a list of what's in the cloud as opposed to what's on the physical network.
Thank you. Oh, and okay, so the sponsors,
Mhm.
these shirts, are they're a little more expensive than the T-shirts, right?
Well, at one time, they're going to be, yeah.
So was that cost passed on to the sponsors?
The sponsors pay $300 if they just want to be on the shirt. They pay $200 if they just want a banner, and then $500 if they want both.
Okay. And is that the same as last year?
It is. It is.
The
But
shirts, I
even,
think, pay themselves back in a 12-month cycle, right?
oh,
That's
yeah,
what we
yeah,
think we
because I
can
won't
use,
have to spend the $2,000 on the cotton shirts.
Right.
Yeah, and then the sponsorship fees. We picked up Alpine Auto, actually, a couple days ago, so we're excited to get a new sponsor. And we've had a couple, Moody's on Mill dropped from full sponsor to they just want their banner up, which is fine. I just wanted a clear answer before I print these shirts off. And a lot of them, it's the regulars. It's Southwest Ag, it's Lewis Merck, and they're going to sponsor again, of course.
Any feedback on the rate increases, positive or negative?
We haven't yet, but we haven't hit a billing cycle. So once those bills go out, I'm sure we'll get some feedback on that. And it was very minimal in a lot of areas in putting it in. So you have to really be paying attention. But your bill, yeah, will go up. But when we hit that billing cycle here in about a week.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Parks and Trails, Mark.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Board of Trustees. Not a whole lot. During December, it was like May, we had no snow and it was warm, so we were able to take advantage of that. And we trimmed all the ugly willow trees along the Little Pine Creek. Every winter, the snow just beats those down, breaks all the limbs, and we have to go in the creek and pull those out. So we went ahead and just cut them all back and got them out of the way. That way the kids can tube and stuff a little more easier without getting slapped in the face with branches of willow trees and stuff. We're about 50% done with our vehicle and equipment maintenance. We do a very thorough inspection on all of our vehicles and equipment, following manufacturer guidelines to ensure safety and reliability during the busy summer and spring seasons. All of our playgrounds were inspected and in good shape. We did notice that a couple of the ramps at the skate park had some cracks in them. So we were able to weld those and repair them, but they're pretty bent out of shape. So some of them were actually like coming up off the ground. So we bolted them to the concrete so kids wouldn't be hitting a edge on the ramp there. But that equipment's getting pretty worn out. We're doing the best that we can though to keep it safe. Katie had asked me to meet with SME Environmental. We've been working with them for quite a while on this Twin Bridges construction agreement. They had us plant some seedling trees and grass seed and kind of maintain some of the infectious weeds in the wetlands area. In exchange for us being able to build the bridges, we had to create a little bit of habitat for the wildlife in that area. So I met with him. He was overall pleased with everything that we've done. He strongly recommended to the Army Corps of Engineers to sign off on that. But the Army Corps of Engineers, we met with them also, and they do want to do a site visit in April. So unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until they come and look at the site. So we'll be doing some stuff in the spring too, just to keep up on that, and hopefully we get this out of our hair and are done with it, because it's been quite a while that we've been working on this with them. I've been working on a grant with the Colorado Tree Coalition. They have a $4,000 grant, which we would match with our capital improvement fund that we have for shade trees in the parks. I just submitted that last Friday, so we'll see how that goes. Seemed like we've met all the qualifications for that. I think probably going out and getting some more sponsors and more community involved might help as well. Right now we have the Bayfield School District that are going to be involved in, I think she said about 100 kids is going to come and attend our Arbor Day event that we have. So hopefully that goes through. If it does go through, we probably could get about 22 to 25 shade trees. And I want to do that in Joe Stevenson, Mesa, and Eagle Park to get more shade trees in there and help keep our grass green and get people out of the heat. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated as soon as I hear from them. We did a few things in the shop. This was recommended by CIRSA last year. We put some safety railing on our loft up above our office and a new ladder to comply with their recommendations. Also had SGM do a weight load capacity, so we know how much stuff we just store all of our, lawn equipment and everything that we need to get out of our way up there. So we're also waiting for a lift that we're going to be able to take stuff up and down safely, so we'll be putting that in. Ben's been doing a lot of training. I signed him up for a sports field management course, which he did that and completed it. So that'll help him understand fertilizing, aerating, keeping up all the fields, and just kind of give him an overall knowledge of what we do out there. He's also doing some irrigation training, installation, and repair. I think he's like halfway through that, so that should help him out a lot come this spring and summer. Oh yeah, we had our, Corey had our vehicle lift that we installed last year inspected. They made a few adjustments to that. Our electric hoist that we're going to use to lift that material basket to the loft, apparently it had too much cable, and as it was winding up, it kind of got kinked a little bit, and so they red tagged that piece of equipment. We replaced the cable, and it's now in good operating condition. So yeah, that's back in operation there. And yeah, that's it. Do you guys have any questions for me tonight?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Jeremy, Public Works.
Yeah. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Board. I think there was two reports that were in the packet when I was looking through. I'm just going to kind of go over December's and recap. We had half as many locates in December as we did in November, so we went from like 150 something to 78. So it's been really busy with the fiber optic installation this year. We still do have a fire hydrant that was out of service, I think in November. We were going to try and repair it. That was unsuccessful. So it's probably going to stay out of service until spring with the location and the depth of bury. It's on the corner of Park and Buck Highway, and with the proximity to the residence yard, it's going to be a pretty big hole. But that is going to have to be replaced and not repaired. December, we did have another sewer strike with the installation of the fiber optics. That was taken care of and turned over to Clear Networks. They're working with the homeowner as far as for plumbing bills and things like that. The lift station and distribution SCADA has been completed in 23. We've already found a bad float in 160B and then noticed a vacuum leak from the trending through there. So that's been a helpful tool for us to kind of help troubleshoot and diagnose some of those problems before they become major. We did get a break, like Mark said, in December. Storm drains and irrigation, we did some ditch maintenance. So down Buck Highway, we did ditch maintenance there, and on 501, coming up to try and keep some of that water out of the road and prevent some icing. Streets and right-of-way, the Mill Street sidewalk, they've kind of been delayed by weather. So they're still working, waiting on the retention wall blocks. They're hoping to get that done this this winter as well. So the north side of the Mill Street sidewalk probably won't be complete until April 2024. So we made approximately 153 million gallons of water, which is up 10% from the year prior, which is to be expected with some of the new construction that we've had. And then if you do look at the wastewater flows for December, you can see in the daily flows in that chart how it's pretty much tabled out. That's really our actual flows without any of the I&I and infiltration. So the big projects for 2024 are going to be sewer projects and try and get some of that I&I under control. And then that puts us at about 50% plant operation. So we should have plenty of room for expansion. That's about all I got. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jeremy.
How much grief did you get for snow removal today?
Well, no, we haven't. We've got a few complaints. And, you know, honestly, it snowed and it got really cold. And so typically what will happen if it'll warm up for a few days, we're able to go through, we call it slushing. So we go through, we knock all that slush and melted snow off the streets. It hasn't warmed up. It's been, you know, single digits and negative for a long time. So there is some portions of icing, but we'll continue to clean up. We've been moving snow most of the day today. We got a few other spots, Pearl, over at the end of Louisiana, going to the new subdivision. We'll be moving tomorrow. And then hopefully if the temperatures will come up, we can get some of that ice pack off the roads.
I haven't heard anything bad. I'm just wondering. I'm just waiting for it, so.
Me too.
Just never please
Oh,
anybody.
yeah, the driveways. That last one was
I heard
fun.
about stop signs last week.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
People were having issues with stop signs.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Wait, are we marking some of these service lines that are getting hit?
What's that?
Are you marking these service lines so we know
Yeah,
where
we
they
are.
after they
So
get hit?
what the real challenging part of these sewer service lines that are getting hit is they're not electronically locatable. So when we go out and we do our utility locates, we look for a clean out or access to those. We'd be able to use like an electric fish tape for pulling wire. We'll run that down the clean out. We can hook an actual electronic locator to it and we can mark those. What we're finding is a lot of the old sections over here, like on North Street, this 297 North Street, the older neighborhoods, we don't have access to those clean outs outside of the house. And without going in and having to physically remove a toilet to get something metal in there that we can use an electronic locating device, we're having to witch them. And so we're using, you know, best information, our sewer mapping, we did all the camera, so we're using the PDF, we can get in the street, we can wheel roll from manhole to manhole, but witching still is just an educated guess. And so a lot of the
No, I mean,
strikes
like after they hit them, are you marking them somehow?
Yeah.
So you know where they are in the future, so, you know.
Yeah, we actually do have Trimble equipment right now, which isn't survey grade, but it's able to allow us to do drop points, and it also syncs with the Esri software that we have. So we can get, what I want to say, horizontal location Not necessarily vertical, but
Right.
we can drop pin those points in, and then we've been working with SGM to update the mapping. And that's when we do have anything else exposed too. We're really trying hard to get out there and get those marked and keep that digital mapping up
Okay,
to
I'm
date.
just making sure we're keeping up on it.
I'm trying. But,
All right.
good question. Anything else?
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
All right, Chief O'Gay.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Board. I wasn't able to give the November monthly because we had taken that meeting off, but there's a couple things I wanted to kind of mention. I'm always transparent about use of force. We did have one that month. It was a taser deployment, but it was not activated. It was just deployed to take control of the subject who gave up at that point. So we did not have to go hands-on or utilize the use of force, the taser at all. The other thing is I wanted to mention, I always try to mention when we have really good things. This is Officer Moreland in November, spotted a vehicle driving around late at night, early in the morning, and it was going in and out of buildings, parking lots, and neighborhoods. And when he finally spotted it in the parking lot, it was occupied, so he contacted that person and realized that it was suspicious, but did not have enough evidence at that time. But he kept the investigation open. We found out later in the morning that that subject did a couple burglaries. So we had enough evidence at that point to where we did get charges for burglary on that subject. So it was a great observation of spotting a car just driving through town in and out of our parking lots. So I give kudos to Ray. He did an awesome job. And then the follow-up he did the next day with Sergeant Stritzel and everybody like that, excellent job. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up. For December, we were in the final phases of implementing the key card system, and we got it activated as of, I think last week, we finally pulled it in full mode. So it's all open, it's all working. We've tested the system out, it's working very well. The PD leadership team also met with a couple of companies, one of them that did the key card installation, about reviewing our camera system for all of the facilities that we own as a town to make sure that we are providing adequate security. So we are reviewing some options with them to put surveillance cameras 360 outside, and then for risk management on inside to make sure our liabilities are being covered. So we're in the process of just reviewing with them and seeing what kind of products they have. We also, as a leadership team, on December 20th, we tested 2 Colorado Post officers to come to Bayfield. One of them indicated that he was going to probably take a job with somebody else, so we focused really on the other one who actually did a better oral board. And we found out today that he's withdrawn his candidacy as well. So we're back to square one, trying to finish that last spot we still have open. But I'm going to meet with the Cadet Academy tomorrow, because they have a couple unsponsored cadets going through to see what we can possibly do about getting them to test for us. There was no use of force, but I want to bring up, we enacted the Traffic Enforcement Authority effective November 1. So in October of this year, we only had 40 traffic stops based upon our limited traffic enforcement area. So in November, that increased to 77. And then in December, we were up to 107 vehicle stops because we have, that's not me, we enlarged our traffic area, which now allows us to better support the town to make it safer. But I will not be able to give you like true data and for about 18 months to a year once I get the stuff from ISP to see how many accidents we are able to reduce in those zones. But as of right now, you go out, you'll see our officers on 160 or 501 on Buck Highway. They're patrolling that more because we have now better access to better support the safety for our community. Spillman. We are going to be going through Spillman training in the end of February. We should have full implementation the first week or 2 of March. The costs will be coming in. There's some stuff that was, I guess, under budgeted. We needed more licenses than what was initially planned. We needed more stuff for our vehicles. We're getting that stuff ordered. We're getting everything put together. Kristen's been working very hard with Patrick for the past couple of weeks. We actually have all of our tablets are ready to go. All of our desktops are ready to go. So now it's just getting the stuff mounted in cars and us going through training. And then we'll have all of our own computer-aided dispatch where we are able to see what our officers are doing, and the officers can actually type their reports in live. and we'll have all that data. And speaking of data, we have found out that the data that was being obtained through eForce was not correlating very well. It was not full numbers for what our officers have been doing while we've had eForce. So now transitioning to Spillman, all the data that is required for our reports will be accurate. It won't be, this vehicle stop was not a vehicle stop, it was labeled as this, so therefore it didn't go into eForce. So we were not able to track stuff, but as soon as Spillman goes into effect, all of our data will be 100% accurate. Do you have any questions or anything for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole, you're up.
Good evening. I'll just touch briefly on December, a couple things. So text amendments are starting for the land use code after we've adopted the comp plan. We have a series of text amendments over the next year. January, we touched on pet sales and pet licensing with the Planning Commission, and it'll come before the board on February 6th. So that will be here soon. We started our Dark Skies Certification Mentor Program. We had our kickoff meeting, and a big part of that will be some community outreach, maybe some fun events celebrating our dark skies, and maybe tying those into some of our other events like the 4th of July and our block parties. So more to come on that, but working with the state on that process. And then ultimately looking at coming to the Planning Commission board with some code changes for lighting. We really don't have a lighting ordinance in the town. We have sign lighting and we have some parking lot lighting standards, and that's it. So just looking at lighting as a whole. And so we put some information in the newsletter and just want the community to know that more to come on that process, and hopefully some fun things in the next couple months on that. And then Jeremy kind of touched on the Mill Street. We're still trying to finalize funding with Cinnamon Heights, the county, and with the state, and then hopefully get an RFP out soon for a developer for that project. And then I still haven't heard back on the congressionally directed spending, but the last I heard at this point in time, they usually don't make major amendments, and so I'm hopeful that we'll see the 1.5 million and we'll hear something soon on that one. And then I did put together an annual report like I've done the last 2 years now, just of what's happened in community development, and just point out to, community development is just me, but almost everybody on our staff touches our projects. So, Public Works and the city manager definitely have a lot of touch on all of these projects and getting these things accomplished throughout the year. All of our admin team, our front office staff, our consultants, building consultants and engineering consultants. So it's a big team that goes into getting these accomplishments done for the year. And so a couple things I wanted to highlight is we definitely had more building permits and certificate of occupancies or completions for 2023. And with Mustang Crossing under construction and Pine River Commons under construction, we probably will surpass that in 2024 is my projection based on those projects. And then also we got the Dark Skies Mentor Program. We're working on the WaterWise Land Use Program. So those are 2 free programs that we got some technical assistance on. We've applied for 3 grants. We got the $2 million for Cinnamon Heights. We adopted a new building code. We adopted the Joe Stevenson Park with Parks and Rec's help, and also our comprehensive plan. So a lot of big things that happen in 2023. And then I just kind of outlined on the next page just some of the bigger projects and which ones came through public hearing versus administrative. My project statistics section, I'm just going to continue to highlight the ones that are under review or in approval process right now. So that covered 22 and 23 projects, and then just a breakdown of what type of building permits we had. And then the next couple pages are just kind of an update of where each project is at in terms of process, including our infrastructure projects that we put in there. And then the last page is just after the comp plan, you know, we have an implementation section of the comp plan, and that's really my long-range plan, and what to accomplish at the community development level. And so I just went through the comp plan and implementation section on what are the 0 to 2 year projects that were in our implementation section, and just kind of outlined some goals for 2024 that I want to accomplish to implement the comprehensive plan. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. This is on the website, and then I do have some more hard copies if people want to take any of those.
I had a question, Nicole. For the lighting that you talked about in the very beginning, I know that some HOAs have requirements for lighting also in their covenants and whatever standards. How can those be incorporated into the work the town is doing? Because you don't want an HOA to say you can do one thing and the town says you do another.
Right. We'll have to look through those, and I
Okay.
think it'll be a case by case for each of the HOAs. And then a lot of our lighting is grandfathered, so it's really new projects moving forward. So new subdivisions that come in, will make sure that their codes and covenants meet our requirements or exceed them moving forward. But the existing is existing, and that's kind of how it works.
Perfect, thank you.
Do I understand right that the grant for Charles' project, did that get denied?
Yeah, we didn't get invited to apply. And that was a tough one because
Yeah.
we asked for 1.2 million.
Right.
We had our interview, and they encouraged us to ask for the full amount, which was 4 million. So Charlie went back and re-looked at everything and asked for 3.8, and then they said, well, we don't have enough money, and sorry. And so it was it's been a challenge with these grants. So we'll see what comes out of the Prop 123 process and what other funding's available. There's another grant DOLA suggested he apply for, but the thing is, a lot of people applied for strong communities that didn't get it, and they're suggesting everybody apply for this next one, which comes up in March. So
It's going to be competitive.
yeah, so they're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to keep looking to see how we can help support them, so that we can still get deed restricted units there.
Bummer.
But yeah, it is a bummer.
Well, hopefully something pans out.
So they can't have deed restricted units without the granting?
No,
without the grant
they
funding?
still believe that they can meet the price point to deed restrict the units, but they were hoping to have them at a lower price point. So right now, I think, you know, maybe 100% AMI, 120% AMI, and I think they were trying to get to that 80% AMI. And I don't know if they'll be able to without grant funding. So we'll just have to kind of see how it continues to pencil out for them.
Any other questions? Thank you, Nicole. Amber?
Good evening, everybody. So I just want to give you a quick staffing update. We did interviews for the park maintenance position last week. We had 2 great candidates, but one had a great deal more experience, so we'll be making an offer to that individual this week. As the chief stated, we're back at square one with the PD position that we still have open. December has been a busy month with managing payroll and quarterly reporting. Last week I've been working on yearly reporting so that we can get our W-2s out, which hopefully will go out this week. And there is a new requirement this year for electronic reporting of W-2s and 1099s to the IRS. So that's been a little bit fun to deal with. Yeah, that's all I have. I'm quick. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
And Carrie's report is in your packet.
It's in the packet. Carrie will be providing a report every other month. So it will be the next time will be March 5th. So I think this is going to be helpful for you to know kind of from her perspective of what's going on with the senior center operations. So.
Okay. We're going to move on to our discussion and possible staff direction. We have our LPA install EV charger.
So, currently, right now, that charger that is, I'm trying to think of directions all of a sudden.
Out there.
We have two chargers out there. They belong to LPEA. LPEA actually got an easement from the town across our property for the transformer and the meter. And so in this email, I don't necessarily know if Emily has the authority, but she wants to know if the town will take on those two chargers. So I've asked her for more details. I didn't get any more details, but from a discussion I had, that we would basically, the easement would be turned back over to the town, and we would be paying the electric bill and then charging for electric use of those two chargers. So it's another operations that I still think we need more details on, but before we get there, I think I'm looking for the board to determine if you believe that that's a direction you would like to go.
Do you know how often they're used?
I really don't know how often they're used. They are on, if you have a electric vehicle and you go to the map, they are on the map, but they're not the fast chargers. So they're more of a medium to slow charging type of service.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to know what those are pulling, what they're costing, and
I'd like to know cost.
I
Are
mean,
they
if
under
we have
warranty?
we have to put on some sort of credit card reader, like a parking meter kind of situation.
It would be somewhat similar to that. So,
Yeah.
it'd be another
Another
you're going to
cost.
have to charge enough for the use of the chargers to actually recoup your dollar amount for the electricity and for credit card use and for everything else.
Oh,
Maintenance.
And maintenance and capital improvement if you ever had to replace them.
and they're not even the fast ones.
Well, can't they provide information on can't they provide the electric utilization of the
They
of the
should be
unit?
able to.
Oh, they probably, I'm sure that
Yeah.
they can.
then
Yeah,
that can
they,
help
for the
us
first 2
understand.
years, it was free. And then we're past those 2 years. It was done just in 2020.
And if we say no, then they just have to continue to host it.
It's still theirs.
Okay.
So
I
I'll
guess
look
maybe
into
we'll
that.
find it, yeah, we
Yeah.
can find that out.
I'd be curious to know how they service them too. Because you don't just, it's cost this much and people pay that much. It just, there would be more to it in the upkeep.
I'd also want to know, because clearly they have these in multiple locations, if they have it in a similar location to ours that they have been charging for, what, or that someone has been charging for, what are they getting out of it?
So there's one in Ignacio, isn't that correct?
There's a few at the library.
Yeah, at the library, and that's somewhat, I remember that ribbon cutting.
Well, it'd just be good to know, if we're gonna have to maintain it, is it gonna be costing us more to maintain this versus, the utilization of the town? Like, it's great to have, but from what I've heard, it's a slow charge, and so is that what we're looking for? Because I think someone would wanna charge up faster
Yeah.
than what the current,
So we
but I
have,
just-
we have looked into the fast charger. Was it $100,000 for a
They're
transformer?
Expensive.
150.
150.
And that was our half, so it was a 50%
Oh,
grant, so it'd have been $300,000 each, and we would have had to pay 150 at the town, and then we would have got 150,000 grant.
And then you gotta service
No,
them.
we didn't
how
have
long do they last, and
150,000
how
for
much
that.
warranty.
could we do a survey in one of the newsletters out to the public asking if there was, do you know that this is here? Are you using it, or would you use
We,
it?
we can put we have Survey Monkey, and we could just put something out there.
Yeah,
that-
no, that'd be just
on
great to know if
Facebook
the
and
pub,
the-
I mean,
yeah.
we might be like, oh, this is great.
I mean,
but
I
then
know
the
people
public
that
could
have
care
used
less.
it, and that was their complaint. They're like, it wasn't very fast, but then they went down and had lunch and, hung out. So
Oh, darn.
if it's something very minimal, that's what I'm saying. If it's a service that we could provide, because they're not sitting there, they're gonna go and spend money. So maybe we're somewhat seeing it in a sales tax,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that, I just don't know.
I just
what
like some
it's-
data before
Yeah.
making a decision on, yeah, let's do it.
Well, that's a good idea.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that. Water referee judgment and decree.
Well, since 2015, this has been going on. I'm going to have Public Works Director Schultz basically talk a little bit about what this means. It definitely increases our water shares, but there's a lot of pages in there that was approved by the water referees.
So basically, this completes the Los Pinos change case. Like Manager Sickle said, this has been going on since 2015. And what this actually means is that during irrigable season, so when they're actually quantifying water, we've doubled the amount of raw water we have available for treatment. So previous to the change case, our raw water shares through Los Pinos ditch were about 1.2 million. And so with this change case, that puts us at 2.8 million of P4 water. So that's a high priority, in which, you know, if you guys can understand, the lower the number, the higher the priority, which means we stay in longer. When there is a drought season, the higher priority numbers, so a P12, a P26, they get kicked out sooner in time. So this is actually huge. Typically for our highest demand days during the summer, we're producing about 600,000 gallons. So this puts us in really good shape. Before the change case, we had double that capacity, and now we've quadrupled that. So it really sets us up for the future growth that we're seeing coming to Bayfield, and we should be in good shape into the future. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you had specific questions in regards to our raw water shares.
It's nice to see some resolve on
One
that.
of these days, I'd like to understand that. A lot of people were asking with all these houses how we were gonna have water, so this answers that.
Yeah, and so they basically quantify the raw water during irrigation seasons, which is May through October. So that's when they're really counting, and then after that, you go to Free River. But this is huge, and it's taken a ton of time, so that's
Nice.
a big deal for the town.
It's exciting.
So it's all finalized and settled now?
Yeah, it's actually been recorded and decreed through the water referee. So we're good. Now we got to start on the Schroeder.
Schroeder, I was gonna say, the
So,
Schroeder's
Next.
what is that? So, and maybe in another 20 years. But yeah,
Well, this one took, what, 8, 9?
yeah. So,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and water does move a little bit slower. There's a lot of affected parties, and people are really particular about seeing those shares get moved around. So this is huge.
So, and then keep in mind that part of this PRID may have some ability to change the cost of the firm water. We haven't seen that in the billing we got for 2024. But as we get ready to change some Schroeder shares, we may, that will just keep negotiating. So,
cool.
We felt that this was more important to get that down before they.
That's
We
correct.
talked pricing, because if we did pricing, it could have messed this piece up,
Yes.
and that would have hurt us even more, so. Cool.
Okay.
All right, moving on to Court of Appeals regarding executive sessions.
So I thought it was really important to kind of have this discussion in public session about executive sessions. So I'm not the attorney, and I think that what I want to make sure that this board understands is that, this now muddled a little bit, that's from CML, is that usually, you would give direction to the town manager, or you give direction to the town attorney about which direction to go to come out of executive session. So we'll probably, with discussions and referral to the town attorney, make sure that we have something on the agenda to come out and give direction if that's the case, or, we'll have that discussion if those are the issues that we would like to have on the agenda, so.
Once again, the important thing out of this Court of Appeals decision, there are a couple of important things. The number one thing is when we go into executive session, it's always so important to follow the script to a T.
Mm-hmm.
That is,
Paid for that one
announce
before.
the general reason for going into an executive session, give the proper statutory citation, and clearly state that nothing's going to be decided in executive session. When we go into executive session, nothing will be decided in executive session. Gosh, executive session. Sorry.
Welcome to my
Hard
world.
times articulating today. In any event, yeah, so nothing will be decided, but direction can be given. The problem the folks in Aurora ran into is that they actually made decisions in executive session and then came out stating they'd given direction to their attorney, but they made a decision. And then later, when the newspaper was trying to get all the information contained in the executive session, they then tried to correct it all by just repeating everything in an open meeting and saying, but being careful as to what they said in that open meeting. So again, it's just one of those things where we have to be very careful about what we say when we go into executive session. And then while we're there, just making sure that we're conducting ourselves properly, trying to get as much information to you guys as possible, and where there's direction that's needed, direction is given to your personnel, but no decisions are actually made. And then when we come out of executive session, should you guys want to have discussion about something and then enter a decision and take a vote and so forth, that can happen afterwards. Okay? So, little food for thought when we're doing all this stuff.
Okay.
So, on that second page at the bottom, of it says, here's a set of sample executive session procedures, and it says click here for town board. Can we get a copy of those?
Sure.
Yeah, they're not lighting up then.
I mean, I clicked on it, I can't, didn't do anything on,
Yeah, I will see. I think the copy I got may have been just when it was all combined together, may have just missed that link. Yeah, absolutely.
What those are generally are, again, scripts that
That's what
basically gives you the statement and fill in the blank when you're making
Right.
a motion to go in executive session and so forth. So it's good stuff. Something to follow, for sure.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Let's go on. We'll go to our elected official terms. Katie, did you want to talk about those?
Can I go back just for a minute?
Yep.
Just one question. So you're saying that when you come out of executive session, if there's something to be discussed, it can be discussed immediately, or it has to go on an agenda for a future meeting?
Now, when you come out of executive, if you come out of executive session, you are, and there's a decision to be made.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you've had discussion and something concerns raising the salary of some official. You come on out, someone makes a motion,
Out
and
of
then
exec-
there's an opportunity for discussion with regards to that action item you want to take. Because we've already announced that we're going into executive session for a particular
Okay.
purpose. So when you come out, you're able to now have further discussion based upon a motion that's made, wanting to take some action, have that discussion, and then call for a vote.
Okay.
All
Thank you.
very transparent,
Yep.
all in the interest of making sure the public understands what sort of business you're conducting.
Got it.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Elected official terms.
Yeah, so I had a question regarding, could we, instead of having 5 elected officials all turn over in one election, this happens to be that there was an appointment, and that appointment does have to go before the electorate again to fill that position. And so we looked into that as far as having a election every year, and so you would have 4-year terms, and there would be a staggering. First of all, we're beyond the 180-day deadline to actually have that ordinance before the council before the election. So can't happen in April at your April 6th election. And currently, right now, we have the mayor term is expiring. Trustee Zazzaro and Trustee Ah are expiring. Trustee Luke, who was then Wolf, was appointed to that position. That position expires because it was an appointment, and Luke actually was elected in 2022, and if he finished, he could have finished in 2026. But because Wolf was appointed, then that would be it has to go back to the electric to fill that position. Trustee Dallison actually was elected in 2020, and that expires in 2024. So that position automatically goes back.
So does the Luke to Wolf to election, is that a 2-year term? So that we have,
It's not necessarily a 2-year term. It is when the next election for a statutory town, and that's what Bayfield is, when there's an appointment, the next election for elected officials, that position has to go and be elected again.
so it has to be elected for a 4-year term.
So this is the issue. If we are going to be a ballot with asking the electorate for 4 candidates, whoever gets the 4th place position would get the 2-year term.
Okay.
Unless there's only 4 running, which 2 years ago there was only 4 running. Trustee Ah, at their time, candidate Ah, said, I will take the 2-year term. And so then this will be the same thing in 2024.
So we'll have it back to 3 and 3 versus 4 and 2.
Well, it just, I mean,
Depends on if there's an appointment again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it just got a little funky with all the turnover, you know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, we
So in
can't do
order to
anything now,
that,
but if we have
We have to adopt an
to.
ordinance.
Right.
And unfortunately, the ordinance has to be adopted at least 180 days before the next election. And we're within that time period. So when we adopt the ordinance, it'll have to be for the next regular election.
I just don't know if I see it being the end-all to fix that staggering. I just think that with the turnover and stuff that happens, it's, you know, it could still get us all out
Absolutely,
of
yes.
alignment.
Oh.
So
Of course.
I just don't know if it's worth even putting that resolution together.
I don't like the idea of an annual election. Is that what we're talking about?
You're not allowed to
No.
have an annual
Oh,
election
okay, thank
according
you.
to statute. You have.
Yeah, I was like,
Unless you call for a special election. Again, pursuant to ordinance,
okay.
based upon some sort of emergency. So generally, yes, you're on a 2-year schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's your thought on it. I don't feel like it'll just fix the alignment. I think there's just the way it's been in the past.
I'd like
it
to see
kinda-
what happens at the end, just after
The
this,
alignment?
this alignment piece, because I just don't think it works when you have 2 members and a potential for the rest to be all new people, including your mayor. It just, what it does to town staff, what it does for projects we've got going on, I mean, it just makes it really difficult to function at that point, because you've got people who could be new and don't understand how government works, and there's a lot that goes into it, as we all know. When we were new doing this ourselves, it's not an easy thing to learn. There's a lot to it, and so.
So we could revisit this 180 days before the next election.
Next April.
Yes.
So Ashley and I right now are saying, you're welcome, because we, and Brenna too before, we're all in our positions for 4 years. We didn't leave.
Yeah,
So yes, you're welcome,
I've been
town.
doing this for 6 years
We
now.
took the commitment. And I'll give Kristen some credit, because she took a job at the town, so she had to forfeit her position.
Yeah, I guess we can see how it goes. We can,
Put it on
So
your calendar.
home rule is the other, but that takes a
That's a whole nother
charter and everything
conversation.
else. So that's not gonna happen in 180
Yeah.
days either.
all right, we'll move on to our action agenda. Do we have any public input on 5A through D? All right, we'll go to Resolution 603.
Well, it's got to be a little bit more intense than we assumed when the board authorized 4 signers. But then on the other hand, I think it's good. I think there's been a kind of laissez-faire about who had access to the bank account. And I think that maybe this is just the way to have this. So they've asked for some specific items. Now I'm going to start spelling over executive session. To open the two accounts operating in ICS, basically to peg a balance is to be zero, funds to be kept in the ICS account. This is a intra-fi account. The authorized signers would still be the 4 that were authorized for all bank accounts in the resolution last year. It doesn't change that resolution. And then for the administrator of the management account would be the town manager. Currently myself. The access to online banking information would be the finance director and human resource director. And then access to view online banking information would be the town clerk and mayor pro tem. And of course, they've asked to make sure that we document our federal ID number. The PDA numbers, we didn't even know what this was, but it's on DOLA's website. So we found those numbers. And then they asked that one board member sign it. So in the resolution, it's saying that you're giving Mayor Tarkington is authorized to sign the letter. That doesn't necessarily repeat in the letter. There's just a signature line for the mayor to sign. So this, in my conversations with Mayor Pro Tem Moreland, because she is in the Banking Institute, kind of asked these questions that, what do you think we should do after we got all these questions from the bank? And this is the way that was recommended. And I agree with it. It's definitely the way to go. So.
And then we'll update it after the next election.
Yeah.
That's usually the way that works.
Any questions on that?
No. Maybe we'll have the same people.
I'd entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 603.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Cesaro.
Yes.
Trustee Hartz.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Trustee Ah.
Yay.
And Mayor Tarkington.
Yes. All right, Resolution 604.
So the next resolution is we're required as a statutory town to adopt a resolution at the first annual meeting regarding the posting place. So the posting place will still be on the west entrance at 1199 Bayfield Parkway for the actual physical agenda. And then as an alternative, keep in mind not all times does the internet work, but we're hoping that's going to be solved here soon. Is also an alternative at bayfieldgov.org. And of course, we encourage people to subscribe so they actually get those agendas in their inbox when we actually get those agendas out. So.
Questions, comments?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 604.
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Cesaro.
Yes.
Trustee Hartz.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Trustee Ah.
Yay.
And Mayor Tarkington.
Yes. All right, Resolution 605, the employee handbook.
Okay, so I moved up here so I can have my computer if you have questions. So the impetus of the changes to the handbook really was the POWER Act being approved. I gave you some information in the report about that. I don't know how much detail you want me to go in, but the major change to the handbook was just adding the marital status as a protected class. And then after that was done, we started making some staffing changes. So we made some changes to the staffing in the handbook, added myself in several places as a resource to our employees, changed any reference to town marshal to the chief of police. And then I added the town clerk as a resource for public records requests. And then there were just a few other small changes that needed to be made for clarity.
Yeah, the holiday pay for part-time employees was not clear, so we just clarified that.
Okay.
Straightforward. Any questions or comments? I would entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 605, the employee handbook.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Cesaro.
Yes.
Trustee Harts.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Trustee Ah.
Yay.
And Mayor Tarkington.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to our custodial contract.
Yes, so Kristen Dallison basically contacted the 4 organizations, or they contacted us to give us quotes to do custodial work for the town. Carrie has been wanting custodial service at the senior center every week because the floor and restrooms can be a lot of work for her to do. So we got bids from Advanced, B&K Cleaning, Ted Avila, who is our current custodian, and then Spotless. Carrie did have Advanced Cleaning do some work at the commercial kitchen when we were getting that up and ready to go, plus after some of the construction, and they did a very good job, and they are also the low bidder. So we would talk to Krista, who is with Advanced Cleaning, and Krista, they like to do the senior center 4 times, probably the police department 4 times, and then town hall twice. Just because it's just a little bit more expensive. And then I think that some of the minor stuff we can take care of actually in most people's offices. So.
Big savings there.
With Krista?
Yeah, with this advance, I'm still like waiting for.
Didn't we talk about this before?
Yeah, we're just gonna we're gonna execute it.
Oh, okay,
So,
that's only different.
if
Nothing's
you-
different about the
No.
numbers.
The estimate, no.
No.
Okay.
So we just need to execute the contract.
Well, the
if we-
13,200 is only if it's 2 times. So just keep in mind that her spreadsheet here would be, the police department would be 4 times as well. So there'd be a little increase from
It's in here.
13,200 to probably about 16,000.
Still comes in way under than everyone else. I would entertain a motion.
Madam, go ahead.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize you, Mayor Tarkington, to execute the contract. So,
Second.
spell out what it is.
For advanced cleaning.
For Advanced Cleaning and Restoration LLC.
Second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Cesaro.
Yes.
Trustee Harts.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
No.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Trustee Ah.
Yay.
And Mayor Tarkington.
Yes. All right, we have our upcoming dates of interest. Do you have anything to add, Katie or Nicole, to that list?
So we talk to the tree board and basically staff. We're going to have a tree board meeting at 5:30 before your regular meeting. That way staff doesn't have to come out for another meeting, and that'll just be before. And we do have about 5 public members on the tree board. It's been tough getting them here to our other Thursday meeting. I think Thursdays were tough, so we're going to try a Tuesday. It'll only be 5 months. It'll be February, April, June, August, October, just before your first meeting of the month. So.
Okay. There's no further discussion. I will adjourn this meeting. It is 7:48.
Right.
For what?
That early.
Showed up.
I didn't go down.
Tuesday night.
Okay, I'll make the change before she signs it.
I saw your, because you're